And today we have very exciting, the plan is very exciting because instead of us, this time we are changing, seats. So you will be on the dais and you will be presenting your ideas, and we get to listen to all these new ideas, which I'm sure are very interesting, very innovative, and let's get to hear that. So do you want to add anything?
Yeah, no, we will be providing feedback, and hopefully you guys will be very happy to receive critical feedback, and we will see how it goes.
Okay, so we want to invite the first group. Yeah.
Yes.
You want to do first? Okay. Yeah. So we have Tamanna and Kajal, JNU's former JNU students and also actually current JNU students, and they want to come and attend. And we'll So we'll also be giving you some grades and let. क्या आपके इसमें चार्ज नहीं है? चार्ज है. Okay. Yeah, Kajal, you can have the mic.
I am going to be taking notes because I'm sure that several of these ideas are going to be good.
Yeah, I'll also take
Let's
notes.
see whether we can.
ये माइक आप हाथ में पकड़ेगा?
या फिर ये वाला भी यूज़ कर सकते हैं. स्टार्ट क्यों नहीं दिखाना? क्या क्या है वो तो दो, मुझे पता ही नहीं है. कैसे करते?
No, but if some presentation is ready, then they can go. आपका क्या problem है?
मैम सर ये कनेक्ट क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? स्क्रीन शेयर क्यों नहीं हो रहा है?
पीछे गए सर कनेक्ट तो हो गया, हमारा इधर आ गया. ये वो नहीं हुआ, हो जाएगा 2 मिनट.
स्लाइड में जाओ, प्रेजेंट वाला करो. There should be something by index की जगह कुछ होना चाहिए. Anything doesn't matter. But वैसे मैं स्लाइड शो है.
Okay, so let us know who are in this group. Just 2 of you.
No, ma'am. Amashika, Sanskriti. So we had thought about 3 topics, and we thought that we would present back to back 3 topics. So they had also helped me.
So Amashika and Sanskrit.
Sanskriti, Khushi, and Diya.
Yes, you.
इसको बुला लेते हैं ना स्टेज.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
can join there.
You guys can come.
Join there because then everybody should be able to
Yeah,
see you
yeah.
guys on.
Khushi, you can also come.
नाम क्या है? सौरभ.
Join
Ajay.
them quickly.
Ajay?
Start.
So
because they
So we will be presenting about an idea on publishing industries, of a policy for publishing industry. So when we read books, sometimes when we buy books, sometimes we face some choices. So I have the title is Reader's Dilemma. We have constructed a DCE on the purchasing decision of books. So the motivation for this study is, since the publication industry, they have a significant environmental footprint as they use papers and they use energy in printing and also the transportation costs. The industry may aim to adopt climate-friendly practices to achieve carbon neutrality. They can invest in digital platforms and they can also invest in subscription-based e-reading services. They can also encourage second-hand book sales and streamline supply chains to lower their emissions. And they can also promote eco-friendly printing processes. But as ma'am had mentioned in her previous study, that if one is going to implement a policy, then someone should adopt that policy as well. There should be takers. Before implementing these climate-friendly policies, then the publishing industry may want to assess whether the young readers, they are ready to adopt the green consumption practices, or whether they are going to adopt the green consumers. We want to assess whether they are green consumers. And what is green consumerism? Green consumerism is a pro-environment consumption behavior to reduce the pressure of resources and environment, including the field of personal behavior, such as purchases of recyclable products, taking into account the interests of both individual and society. Now, our objective for this study is to employ a DCE to have a clear view about consumer preference for sustainable book formats like digital books, which includes both audiobooks and ebooks, and used books over printed copies. So our goal is to understand the trade-offs between substitutability, affordability, and also exclusivity. Whether the book is a standard edition, and because of this, a consumer wants to purchase that book. So one of our goals is to assess if emotional or social apples like climate change, climate nudge, are more effective than factual certifications. Like if we give them a sustainable level, this is FSC certified or things like that, to inform the publishing industry policies. So our target population for this experiment will focus on individuals aged between 13 to 40, and we assume that they can read and they have some kind of familiarity for digital books. Testing environment, we can test this experiment in universities, colleges, or in local bookstores as well. So the alternatives here are printed books, so which are traditional paper-based books, and used books and digital books, which includes both ebooks and audiobooks. And we will survey, like a stated choice-based survey will be designed where respondents will be presented with multiple hypothetical purchasing scenarios. Here we have shown just one choice set. These are the attributes and levels of my DCE. So price is one of the attributes. So percentage, in percentage terms, but in terms of discount. So if the MRP, from discount from the MRP, the levels are 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. There are 5 levels. And I have also taken the attribute condition of book, whether the book is new, like new, good or acceptable. And edition, this attribute incorporates exclusivity. Whether the book a consumer is choosing to purchase, whether it's a standard edition or a limited edition or collector's edition. And then some sort of sustainability level, whether the book is FSC certified or used 100% recycled papers. These are some labels. And climate nudge, these are 2 messages that we might include in our study, like by choosing this, you save 3 trees and reduce paper waste. We'll just give them a message. Or the second message could be, by choosing this, you can reduce your carbon footprint by X gram or Y gram, whatever. This is the example of a choice set, and you can see the trade-offs. Like So if we compare used books and printed copy, we can assess whether emotional or social appeals are more effective, used books and printed copies. We can assess whether emotional or social appeals are more effective than factual certifications. Factual certifications entails sustainability label. A person may show preference for exclusivity over affordability and sustainability by choosing alternative 3, because alternative 3 has this edition, limited edition, where alternative 1 and 2 have standard editions. So if they choose alternative 3 despite being the less in discount, due to this its limited edition factor, one might choose the third alternative. And discounts on digital books and used books are comparable. As you can see, in digital books there is 30% off, and in case of used books 30% off, and for digital books 40% off. So the price is nearly comparable, but here the consumers state their preferences toward a particular type of climate policy that the publishing industry may undertake. They can take sustainability label or climate change. What policy should they implement? Which policy is more effective? Whether sustainability level is more effective than climate nudge, or whether climate nudge is more effective than sustainability level. So there is a trade-off between these two, used books and digital books. So that's it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions from the audience? I really like it. I think that we are onto something interesting and important, because that this kind of descriptions experiment can inform potentially even libraries.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like what is going to be the demand for printed versus digital books. Something very specific, your status quo will be a printed book, but I will say that the price discount should be 0.
Yes.
Thank you. The price discount should be 0 because you basically want to tell the person, well, imagine that you are going to buy a regular book that is printed, that of course is not in any kind of a special edition, so that they don't have an attachment to the status quo, doesn't have label, so it's not particularly sustainable, and it doesn't have any discount. So that basically what you're testing is, well, if I give you discounts, will you move to the digital or will you move to the used books? And then when you present the scenario, you say, well, look, you've seen today new books has this footprint, moving towards digital, and used books may have some potential positive impact. So pick between a printed book or digital or used book. That will be.
Basically, sir, you are telling us that we can put a negative nudge here.
Well, the status quo in itself should not be should reflect as much as possible the current average status quo.
Okay.
Sir wants us not to add the limited edition factor.
Exactly.
And also we should remove the 10%
Exactly.
factor, right?
Because otherwise you are nudging them into the status quo.
But
You kind of want them to move from the status quo.
But I wanted to make it clear that exclusivity, due to their attachment to exclusivity, they might choose that one. I had initially thought that I would give 3 alternatives and 1 status quo, but I didn't do that because that would be like too much, too many attributes and
So in that case, what happens is you can use the limited edition in the other 2, but
In
not
one
in
of
the
these.
status quo. Of course, there are the status quo that are limited edition, but at the same time, what you want to do is based in comparison to an average, like the status quo limited edition that is in a different market, right? And new is a good idea. That is new. But the limited edition, you could use it in the other two. So keep standard, limited edition, and you can use it either in use or in digital. You could make it also. That's how you can say, oh, I can move people from a printed book if I offer them a limited edition digital book that they can brag about.
Yes.
Right? That is how you will interpret it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Questions?
Yeah, there should be more, like interactive things. So just,
Yeah, don't feel afraid of.
it's a discussion. So I'd like to add that if there is an attribute for which we don't have a level, how do we handle that? Because condition of a book is something for which we don't have a level,
Oh, in the digital
Yeah.
book. I didn't realize of that.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering that can we include attributes for which we don't really have a level for one of the alternatives? What does that do to the design? I mean, is it possible to even include that attribute?
I didn't realize that. Right now, I don't have a quick reaction, but probably what will have to happen is that's a very good point, Sangeeta.
Yeah, so one will have to think a little bit more whether that can be done or not done, because I can't even use zero, because it's not that as it is zero and others are better. It's like that attribute doesn't exist for digital books.
Thank you. I think that Sangeeta has it right. Right now, with no further thinking, my recommendation will be actually to drop condition of book, because exactly you cannot say that a digital book is in good or bad condition. But basically, in that respect, what you don't really lose anything. So you just say you are about to buy a printed book that is new. Of course, the price is this, and it's a regular edition. It is not particularly sustainable. That is the status quo. Then will you consider a used book in good conditions or a digital book with the following characteristics, right? Like, it is almost a little bit too much, actually, now that I think about it. Because if you're going to use a used book, you want it in good condition. You will likely not buy it in very bad condition. So the way that you will phrase it is you have to choose between the status quo, a used book in good condition, or a digital book. And then you drop that characteristic. Okay. Yeah, that was a very good point. Thank you.
Thank you. But otherwise, a very, very interesting,
Very good.
thought. How to reduce carbon footprint. And we talk about transport, energy, but even books, it's like lifestyle or behavioral pattern. Just being aware that you can reduce carbon footprint at every step. So many things that you do in your daily life. Okay.
Very good.
Yeah. So sure. Can you just pass it on, please? Thanks.
One thing I wanted to just add for like promoting ebooks. I remember one of the authors that I like, and like I think Simon and Schuster's like publishers, they did this. People really like the feel of a book, that you should be able, like if you're reading a fictional novel, you really want to be able to keep it and cherish it and whatnot. What they did was they started doing this thing where they made this like bonus chapters that were only available if you were to buy the ebook of the book. Again, they did it so that you would buy it from their website and whatnot. It was only available limited edition, this, that. They also had like illustrations and whatnot. That was a very interesting thing that I thought like very like out of the box for sustainability, but like something that at least fiction readers loved.
Yeah.
And that is a good way to
That's a
illustrate
good
the
point,
limited
yeah.
edition component.
Yes.
Because I was thinking, how does a limited edition component relate to digital book? But that is a good
Bonus chapters maybe. Yeah.
You could say a limited edition will be bonus chapters, something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you for your presentation. Actually, I was not here initially, so I don't know the idea exactly. But by looking at this table, I'm just looking at price. So it is always a good idea to connect your research with the theory. So have you studied intertemporal pricing?
Intra or
intertemporal
Yes,
pricing.
yes.
So it's a kind of theory which relates to book pricing, right? You must have studied it. So I can't see how it is related here, because you are not using that theory which companies you use on the basis of willingness to pay of the consumers when they price their books.
Okay. So we have not incorporated intertemporal price thing because here we are not targeting a particular book industry or a particular type of book. Maybe for fiction books we are doing this.
I agree, but you have mentioned new books, right?
Yeah, new books.
So when a new book is launched, usually the
Yeah.
price is very high initially.
High.
Due to the higher willingness to pay. If I am following a particular author, then I am willing to pay very high price for that initially, but later I might reduce it. So yeah.
But then there would be no discount.
Okay.
10% off likha hai, there would be no discount.
Okay, but you can find a way to relate it if possible.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's a very good comment. So, but for this specific case, well, if you were going to write a paper, I will recommend that you provide in the background an explanation of how the prices are set. But because this is from the point of view of the consumer, actually it kind of makes sense that the status quo is completely new with no discount, exactly because of what he's saying. I mean, people will want to buy the first one, and people have a high willingness to pay. So it's okay to present it as it is, because the price that the consumer sees is the price in the label. The intertemporal pricing goes back in the mind of the industry, but not in the back of the consumer. Okay?
But again, we are not considering newly launched books. We are considering existing books and 3 type of them, like one existing book and its printed copy, its digital book, and
it's new. I see what you mean. It's not newly. Okay, that makes even more sense.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Let's give the chance to the next group.
Yeah. Next row, please come.
We probably should keep this one here. Because they have.
Actually, can we take this mic?
Yeah, take it.
Thank you.
Thank you. इसमें है क्या? हाँ, इसमें किसको? इसी में लगाना है तभी ये कनेक्ट होगी. I don't know. साथ is there. I think I need to. Excuse me. ये चलता कैसे है? क्या करते हो? चल रहा है, ठीक है.
Please tell us the group members' name.
Ma'am Archita. Okay. Ishita. Manju. Hi, good afternoon everyone. We would like to begin by extending our sincere gratitude to Professor Adan Martinez-Cruz and Professor Sangeeta Bansal for providing us this opportunity to present our DCE here. It was a pleasure learning from you people and actually applying it in our research. So we are very excited to share your findings with you today. Our presentation is titled DCE on the circular economy of clothing. So that is basically sustainable clothing methods. In a world where fast fashion dominates, we aim to explore a more suitable alternative. Through this study, we seek to understand consumer willingness in transition towards a consumer circular fashion economy, one that reduces waste and maximizes the lifespan of clothing. So first, we'll begin by understanding what the circular economy in clothing entails. The fashion industry follows a take, make, dispose model, leading to excessive waste and resource depletion. The circular economy offers a sustainable alternative by focusing on durability, reuse, and recycling. Instead of discarding clothes quickly, This model encourages designing long-lasting garments, promoting second-hand use and efficient recycling. Through our study, we aim to understand consumer willingness to adopt sustainable fashion and the factors influencing their choices. So we'll take a look at the goal of our discrete choice experiment. So as you can see here, we have taken the reference to be purchasing a conventional cotton t-shirt. Suppose it has a base price of rupees 500. So it can be worn for around 3 to 5 years and it is not very easily recyclable. It has the features of high sweat absorption and low stain resistance. And from the literature review that we have conducted, we have found that other researchers in this area have defined the Earth's code as green, which stands for completely sustainable, low environmental cost, and yellow as eco-friendly with some conventional process, which is moderate environmental cost. Orange stands for less sustainable and uses some harmful processes, which generally have a high environmental cost, and red is it needs improvement and it has a very high environmental cost. Lastly, the scenario under which the price has been determined is we have considered upper middle class people from our surroundings, and we have conducted a survey based on that. Based on our findings, we have designed 6 choice sets which are as follows.
So, before going to the choice sets, we'll first be discussing how we've decided our price range, that we had already learnt in class. So we had conducted a really small survey for around 99 respondents here. 99? Yeah. So this survey is not just based on college students. I mean, we've got it filled from our parents as well, their parents. So it's like 18 plus, the focus group. And here we have taken, I also had included around 250 also for the prices, but 250 was coming out to be really nowhere, because I don't think anybody would like to have a piece of cloth that's not of good quality and just low price. So we have put these prices on a graph, and we can clearly see a trend line which shows monotonically decreasing demand curve, which is consistent with theory. So we have gone about with these prices, we have taken a range of prices based on the percentage of yes responses from 78.7% to around 15.1%. So these are our attributes and levels. First one being material. Here we have classified them as low, moderate and high sustainability. So under low sustainability also we have mentioned all the materials that we are including, and conventional cotton, the one we had as our baseline, comes under low sustainability. Now we have durability as to how long the clothing might be in a good position, in a good state, or the number of washes it can last. Then we have take back program. Take back program is in the sense that whether the company is willing to or has a policy of accepting the used cloth back and recycling it and making it into another one. Then we have prices, as already discussed. This has been divided into ranges. We have biodegradability, whether the product is fully biodegradable, partially, or not biodegradable at all. Then we have performance. For performance, we have just included stain resistance and sweat absorbance. Lastly, we have social network, and for social network, it just determines the percentage of influencers or friends who are preferring that product. And this is not based on a survey, this is just an assumption we've made, 30 and 60%. Moving on to the choice sets. So this is the first choice set example we've created. Here we have 2 options with different codings of green and red, totally opposite. So in this choice set, the major trade-off we see is for social network and price versus environment. So here we can see that most of the influencers and friends of the respondent are preferring the polyester clothing, and the price is 30% cheaper than the reference price. But now when we look at sustainability, what is good for the environment, that is really expensive, 80% of the reference price. But it's obviously good for the environment, it's recyclable and it's fully degradable, which compared to polyester, which is not degradable at all. So this is the trade-off that we are looking at in this choice set, which was basically social network and price versus environmental awareness. Moving on to the next one. Here we have taken moderate sustainability, organic cotton with yellow earth code, and low sustainability, that is nylon with red earth coding. Now in the previous choice set also we had polyester, which was low sustainability. Now the difference between these two, polyester and nylon, is the durability. Polyester is more durable and nylon is comparatively less durable, around it lasts 3 to 5 years, versus polyester was 6+ years. Now this choice set presents exactly the opposite trade-offs as the previous one. Here we have social network on environmental awareness versus price. So here it shows that the influencers and the friends of the respondent are preferring something that is good for the environment. But are we willing to pay for the thing that is good for the environment and our friends are supporting? But we also have an option that is actually cheaper than the reference price. So this is the trade-off that we are presenting in this choice set. Now we move on to the further choice sets.
Okay, so in choice set 3, we see that one of the items is high sustainability, which suppose it's organic hemp, and the second item is moderate sustainability, which can be considered, suppose organic cotton. Right, so organic hemp, as we see, is a high sustainability item, which explains why it is more expensive than the other item. But if we talk about the social network, we see that even though option A is more sustainable, only 30% of the people prefer it. So the major trade-off here is environmental awareness versus social network. Moving on to choice set 4, we have option A, which is moderately sustainable and it is organic cotton. Option B here is low sustainable and it is viscose, suppose. Here we see that the trade-off is between environmental benefits, longevity, convenience versus price.
So this is the choice set 5th. In this we have considered two options. The first is of high sustainability tencel and the second is for moderate sustainability, which is organic cotton. So here we observe the major difference in both these options are of labels. If people prefer labeling here, and the prices are also very different here. The major trade-off is between the prices, the environmental awareness of people and the labels. If people give more importance to labels. The next choice set is of high sustainability tencel and the low sustainability viscose. So here we see that the durability of both these products are very different. The social network is same, but the performance on the basis of sweat absorption and stain resistance is also very different. Also the biodegradability here is different. So the major trade-off here is of environmental benefit, the durability, the people, the person's convenience of wearing that one versus of the social network and price. So the focus group that we have taken is of 18+ years, and here there is an trade-off between durability and fashion trends, which we have explicitly not mentioned anywhere, but it is always present. If we purchase an item that is highly durable, suppose we take a product of like tencel, which is 6+ years, we can wear it. But are we willing to take that item if we are not in trend with the fashion? If we cannot keep pace with the fashion trends based on how influencers these days influence us on social media. Also, there is another trade-off of environmental awareness and social network influence. If we make a choice that is environmentally beneficial, or if we take into consideration other people's preferences and the social media influencers. So, thank you.
I would also like to make a comment here. So there's one mistake that I've made. It's just that the difference is not between polyester and nylon in durability. It was between polyester, nylon. They have the same durability. Viscose has less durability. So that's what I wanted to clear. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Comments and questions? I have my comments and questions. So may I go first?
Yeah, please.
I really want to congratulate you. This is the type of effort, and I think that I hope that at the beginning of the week, if we were going to ask you to do this, you could have not done it. and then it's like the result of the week. So it was very good. Congratulations on getting the prizes, and I think that gives you a lot of training, right? Like, what prize should I get? So comments about the specific. Can you go back to one of your choice sets? I will strongly recommend to drop the labels on the top, unless we really were working to design it with labels. I will keep it without that, just option A and option B. Option C has to have a little bit more of a description there. You gave it, but you have to remind the respondent every time in the choice set what you are talking about by the status quo. Yesterday, I think we discussed that, or you mentioned, we already have more than
6, 7.
Yeah, here's 7. And honestly, this is a good kind of a practical recommendation. Here, I am on the verge to say, I mean, of course, you have to pilot it and everything, but the illustrations make this exercise very easy. So I will not right away tell you to not keep it like that. You need to pilot it, and then you will realize whether it is too much. But at a first glance, because the illustrations are kind of, you don't have to read too much, right? Like recyclability, and they make sense. Probably a font and a little bit bigger, but the illustrations make sense. It doesn't require too much cognitive work from the respondent. So I am on the verge. Maybe it could be put in the field, yeah, because you did a very good job with the illustrations. Durability, I really like it. This one I was discussing with a student that with a postdoc that then didn't put the discrete choice experiment, but I have my doubts, and you did it well. It's 40 to 70 washes or 3 to 5 years. That will be probably of all the attributes that you have, the one that I will recommend the most focus groups and the most testing. How does your population measure durability? Because you got it right, it could be in washes or it could be in years, but they don't really relate one-on-one, right? Because here is the thing, if you like something a lot, you probably are going to wash it a lot more because every other week you are using it, right? So do you use it in washes? Probably. But then if you don't use it that much, I mean, it can be very much durable to 3 to 5 years. So of all these, the one that, from my point of view, becomes very tricky to put in a discrete choice experiment is durability. Think about it, and of course you are keeping it on a t-shirt, and that's good because then that is more relatable, but definitely we'll need to go through several interviews to ask people, how do you measure, how will it make sense to you? Other than that, I think that we are ready to go. Let's start implementing it tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll also just congratulate you guys, the amount of effort that has gone in and the way it's come out with illustrations, and it really looks like a discrete choice experiment. So yeah, so that really reflects your interest and how much you've been able to absorb from this course, and not only that, you've been able to just implement it. So that's like all these that you're going to present, that is a measure of the success of the course, and I'm really glad to see that. And in terms of comments, yes, I think that comment is really good, that maybe we don't need that label on the top, because everything you have is like kind of an attribute of green. But what I'm just thinking is that maybe there is collinearity between these attributes, and we did talk about orthogonal design, and maybe that's a little difficult to get it in the first attempt. But if things are collinear, then you'll not be able to get the trade-offs. So if more sustainable is always more expensive, so maybe you created these choice sets by varying level of one attribute at a time, But when you have a design, then it will be like every level being matched with every other. That's a full factorial design, and then we reduce it. So we need to break the collinearity, and we need to bring in, only then you'll be able to capture the trade-offs. Do you want to add to that collinearity thing?
Yeah, well, I think that what I like from the explanation that you provided was that, and I will recommend that everyone tries to do this exercise before you go into the full design. You did something that honestly provides a lot of intuition, right? They try to explain us what trade-off is reflected in each of the choice sets. So that is very important, that you are like, oh, well, I am trying to trade off environment versus price, network versus, and then once you get it, as you do, then we have to do the full factorial design and elaborate, but then you already have the intuition. Something that I forgot to mention at the beginning is that actually, by the end, something that you have here is something cool. Remember that yesterday I tried to make the point that by the end of your discrete choice experiment, you should have an idea of what will be a contract that you want to estimate willingness to pay for. And you know which one will be in this case? I'm not sure that you realize. You could estimate how much people are willing to pay for sustainable fashion, right? Because you are saying you have trade-offs between short fashion and sustainability. But if we phrase social network maybe instead of social network maybe, we say, what if it is used by the influencers that you follow in social media? And that one, when we do the willingness to pay, we say, what if it's highly sustainable? What if it is very durable? What if it's very biodegradable? Whether blah, blah, blah. And my influencer of my preference also is using it. That will be fashion, and that will be sustainable. How much are people willing to pay to use something that is fashionable and sustainable at the same time? It could come from here. So it will be cool. Thank you. Thank you to you.
Thank you.
Yes, questions?
With respect to performance and durability, would there not be a collinearity? With respect to performance and durability, would there not be a collinearity in this?
In the regular market, yes. But by designing the discrete choice experiment, no. If you design it in a way that doesn't have the collinearity, you could have something that is durable, and at the same time it doesn't have good performance.
But let's say we are talking about sweat absorption and all, right? So, that will make the cloth, let's say, more less durable, right?
Yeah.
So, in that ways, if we take both of them, that will ultimately...
Yeah, part of the trick part, and this is very important to always remember, is in the real market, that is what happens. In our hypothetical market, we are living in this universe where some of the combinations are presented, and people assume that there could be the possibility that that type of good is out there. But in reality, it's very unlikely. But that's the good thing at the same time of a discrete choice experiment, that you can present goods that will never be in the market. And that's how you break collinearity. Thank you. We have to leave right now for a few minutes.
But they can, discussion can continue. Professor Hamina will continue the discussion.
Oh, okay.
And then she can announce break for tea. So, Samina, आप उनको भी announce कर देना online वालों को.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So you have completed your presentation? Okay. So is there any more discussion on this to go on, or you want to? Yeah.
Like, have you considered like design account? Have you considered?
Yeah, take this mic so that you are also captured.
Like right now, it's completely based on people choosing fabrics over anything else. The truth is, if you go to any store today, you don't really look at the fabric. Like if you want to go to any fast fashion chain today, H&M, Zara, whatever you go to, it's not the fabric that most of them are using is actually quite terrible, and that's not a decision that people are making. Like it's all on design, it's all on what most of these brands are carrying now. Even if you were to go for like a little bit of like mid-level luxury type brands, like I don't know, Calvin Klein, Diesel or something like that, they do the same thing too. So like, do you think there's like a different sort of like, when you talk about your policy consequentiality of these things, are you looking at like these labels themselves trying to change the fabrics that they use instead of maybe what consumers would buy? Because I don't think consumers really look at fabric anymore.
I would say design could be an important attribute in this, but I would not exactly agree with they do not look at the cloth or the material anymore, because I think material is an important part. There are many people who prefer cotton, just cotton. They won't like nylon or polyester just because of how it is. Like I have seen a lot of people who just don't want to buy, I don't want to buy this, I want to buy this material even if it's this design, because it's possible to get a good design in cotton, it's possible to get a good design in other materials. But that's surely a very good point, that design is very important, but I do not think that we can entirely drop the material factor in this experiment.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, so I was told that once the discussion gets over, which is already over, we can break for tea or just stretch yourselves. Is there anything online, but the people to comment on, they are not here. So, yeah, actually, he's gone to meet the Vice Chancellor for 15 minutes and will be back soon. We can use this as a break also. Huh? Nothing online. Okay, so let's break for tea or whatever you want to refresh yourself with. Thank you.
We'll just read out people's names and people can
group
start.
one by one. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very much. We'll start now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Over to Khushi. Thanks.
Just a minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. So the topic for our discrete choice experiment is modeling travelers' preferences of ride-pooling service characteristics. Now, we know that in the light of the steadily increasing number of passenger transport by private car, the development of shared mobility solutions, it has become an important field for research and transport providers. This is especially in the context of the fact that one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions is definitely vehicular emissions, because they account for about 10 to 20% of the total global vehicular greenhouse gas emissions. And to support this fact, there have been recent simulation studies that have shown that the number of vehicles in cities could be reduced to a smaller proportion of the nowadays vehicle fleet by the deployment of autonomous shared vehicle fleet that pools the ride request of the travelers, and this contributes to the reduction of traffic volume and the related emissions. So a variety of new mobility services is emerging within this range of your conventional public transport, say your buses and your trains, and the individual transport. And this has been especially facilitated by the rapid growth of information technology and digitalization. So this has been supported by many studies that have been depicted here. Coming to the objective, so what are we trying to understand? The preferences of the individual for ride pooling as a possible alternative mode of commuting to work. So you're exploring factors that influence their decision, such as the time, the cost, the convenience, and the social factors. What is the main motivation? As I've discussed earlier, one of them is definitely traffic reduction, the other being accessibility and convenience, and also technological advancements. The research gap. Why is this a very important research gap? Is because the findings that are concerning the fixed scheduled public transport, this cannot be merely transferred to ride pooling concepts due to the system inherent dynamic nature of ride pooling. So this study, what does it aim? It identifies the ride pooling attributes that significantly affect the user's decision making. It examines how trip purpose influences service preferences, and it estimates the user's willingness to pay for various service characteristics. And I mentioned the two policy recommendations over here, being the dedicated carpool lanes in highways and financial incentives like tax break for ride poolers.
So we have also prepared some questions as a part of our pre-structured interview, like what is the people's usual mode of commuting to their work, and how many days per week do they commute to work, and what is the distance from their home to their workplace, and how likely they are to participate in ride pooling if the options presented in the scenarios are guaranteed to them, and what are the factors that can influence their decisions to ride pool the most, and also how much would they be willing to pay for carpooling or ride pooling if these kind of benefits were guaranteed, that there will be high environmental benefits, or they will completely get complete flexibility over their time, route, or they might get door-to-door services for their pickup and drop-off. Also, for the split sample, we have decided to split the sample in half, and then half of the people from this sample will be informed about the environmental benefits of the ride pooling. So for our attributes, we have included the ride pooling fare, and the levels are classified into 10% saving from a single ride, 15% saving from a single ride, and 20% from a single ride. The commute time are also classified into 20, 30 and 40 minutes. The environmental benefits are classified into two levels, low benefits and moderate benefits. We are assuming that we won't get very high benefits from carpooling. So the low benefits will include reduction of traffic and less car emissions on the road. And moderate benefits will include significant impact in carbon emissions or footprint in the long run. Then the number of ride poolers can be 2 people, 3 people, or 4 people. Scheduling flexibility can be classified into fixed pickup, slight flexibility with time, that is they can be late or early by 10 minutes, and complete flexibility with time and route. Pickup and drop off location is pickup and drop off location can be leveled into fixed pickup and drop off location for everybody, or it can be flexible with a reasonable distance, like 5 to 10 minutes walking distance, and or door-to-door services. The last attribute is detouring. So how much are they willing to give up their time, and how much they are willing to travel more in order to carpool and to get more benefits from it. So yeah, 1 second. These are choice sets. Khushi will explain this.
So this is an example of one of the choice sets that we prepared. So we have here the attributes: ride pooling fare, commute time, environmental benefits, number of rides, ride poolers, etc. I'll go one by one. So the first one is ride pooling fare. So as we all know that there can options wherein people will be pooling in and they'll be sharing the rides. We'll have the highest saving here, 20%. Then the third alternative is the one who want convenience and want to avoid crowding. They will go with alternative 3, as you can see, 10% savings, but they can actually have only 2 people sharing. And then the reference point here shows the place wherein there will be no ride pooling. So this is the reference point, for example, individual cabs. And then we have the alternative 3, 2 people pooling in, alternative 2, 3 people pooling in, and alternative 1, wherein 4 people will be pooling in. If you look at the environmental benefits, the alternative 1 shows us moderate environmental benefits, alternative 2 shows us moderate environmental benefits, and low environmental benefits in the first one, because the person is sitting alone, and that is the option wherein 2 people will be pooling only. Scheduling flexibility, as Amashika also told us, that flexibility means that whether you are able to increase or decrease your time by maybe 10 minutes, if so it will have an option whether waiting time will be allotted, or it is as if the car will come, it will pick the people, will not have any waiting time, and it will leave if you are not there. So that is the flexibility, scheduling flexibility option. Pickup and drop locations is also very important, because fixed location, as we were also discussing earlier with sir, that women might miss. So this is one of the options that people will be considering while choosing their alternatives, because as you can see, alternative 1 has fixed locations, whereas alternative 3 gives door-to-door service, which will be more which will be better for women who prioritize safety and prioritize door-to-door services over maybe having a cheap service. And then detour. So this is very important, and here is where the trade-offs comes from. So if you are saving, if you are going alone, you might not have to undergo any detours. And if you are, for example, going to alternative 3 wherein 2 people are sharing, you might have to undergo a detour of 2 kilometers maybe. Alternative 1 shows an option wherein 4 people are pooling in, so it also shows the highest or the largest detour, which is 6 kilometers. So here is the trade-off, whether you want to save on time and save on your detour, or you want to save more on money. And then, as we already emphasized, we can have a split sample wherein we can let people know that this is the amount of trees you are saving, or energy you are saving, petrol you are saving, lesser pollution if you are going for an alternative wherein we are sharing, and on the other hand, as compared to going alone, which will lead to more pollution. So split sample we can see that. So this was the choice set. Thank you. So Amashika will be taking over. So that's it. Thank you so much. Our team also had another idea. So these are 2 ideas we had. First one was this one. First one we have already presented by Tamanna. Second one was this, and third one is by Sanskriti.
So first we have discussion on this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, a little bit. Adan, do you want to?
Yes, I really like this idea. We were discussing it earlier. We were discussing this idea earlier, and I thought it was super good idea. I came here in the middle. So ride pooling fare express as saving with respect to what will it be?
So for example, the reference point here is going alone.
How much you will pay if you were going to go by yourself?
Yes.
In what transportation mode?
Maybe
in
cab
or
cab,
exactly.
The minimum fare or whatever that you have when you are traveling from one place to the cab fare.
Yeah.
And the other 3 are saving with respect to it on a personal level, individual level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I really like it. I think that this could have a lot of potential here. Something that you have to work. Go back to your. If you think about it, this is. You can think that this is Uber. Mostly when you are talking to door, no? I mean that, and if it is highly flexible, door to door, no detours, that's Uber. But an Uber also has the option these days, I think, actually of pooling, no?
Yes, they do.
So what I'm saying this is, I do believe that they have here a business idea. Truly. Because what you need to know is how much people are willing to pay for the non-Uber option.
Right, yes, sir.
So how much people are willing to pay to share with 3 people that are people that they don't know? How much are they willing to be a little bit more flexible, and whether they will be willing to take some detours, because this is carpooling. This is not a private service called Uber where you can basically expect the full service. Right. This is not your driver. This is a regular person who is going to be willing to go in this way because he's going to be saving
on money,
fuel, and maybe making some bucks. But at the same time, by everyone pulling, you will be saving the planet because you will be not having so many cars on the road. Because that is kind of, to me, the main point, that when you explore this idea, you explore the idea that this is so that you take cars off
The road. Yeah.
the road. Because the Uber put cars on the road. A colleague of mine, Chandra Krishnamurthy, with whom I share the wall, he's these days finishing the first draft of a paper where he's estimating the impact on congestion in LA of Uber, congestion and pollution. And we have talked about it, and he's showing the impact on congestion due to the extra cars from Uber. Because and he's totally doing Uber because he has access to micro data, this big data. But then here, the environmental component comes from the fact that actually the people who will be offering the service will be people with their own car who usually drive by themselves, that are going in the same direction, right?
Absolutely. So, yeah.
And then somehow that person will need to go a little bit farther, a little bit.
Right.
Now, that means that this requires this is demand. I didn't emphasize that much in the course, but several of your ideas require you to think both in the demand and in the supply side. Here you will be obtaining the demand for the service, and now you need to go and repeat this on the people who has a car, who commutes daily by themselves.
Yes.
And then basically how many people will you be willing to share, with what flexibility will you be willing to do it, in pickups that are fixed or not. So basically this, but from the supplier point of view.
Right.
And then I truly believe that if they do it, you guys have the essence for doing your own application. Okay? Yeah? Okay. More comments there? No?
Already there with BlaBla. There's an app called BlaBla.
They already do it?
Yeah, they already do it.
I didn't know. They really do?
Idea taken.
But that app is not registered yet. So
It's not?
it's not legal basically, not regulated, not
Not
registered.
regulated, but it's done.
So it's a carpooling service.
It's
Kind
very
of.
done in very large scale actually in India.
Oh.
BlaBla.
In Mexico, we don't have BlaBla. Let's go and do it in Mexico.
In Mexico. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, go and check what is the service of BlaBla,
Okay, yeah, definitely.
and check what you could explore further with your discrete choice experiment. Because here is the thing, one of the reasons why it's not taking off is not only because it's not regulated or not necessarily allowed. People will be demanding to regulate it if they really wanted the service as it is. So my guess is that if it is out there but hasn't taken off, there are improvements that can be done. People are maybe demanding the service, but we'll discuss it.
Yes, the safety
Women
can be
may
an
not be very safe.
Right.
So you should be exploring those challenges.
Right. People abstraining from taking these services because of safety reasons, maybe
Safety.
because it is not regulated. So once it's better regulated, maybe more people, especially women, can go for this option, carpooling.
Yeah, but also maybe think if it is fixed, maybe they want more door-to-door service. Think if it is, I don't know, or what is the level of flexibility? Because there, when you say flexibility, maybe you want to measure it just by the minutes, like 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 14
Plus
minutes.
minus 10 minutes, maybe moderate. So minutes wise, yes.
Yeah. For instance, that could be how it should be.
So there can be another app just for women. For this.
For instance.
Yeah. Also women with women driver, as you were saying.
There,
earlier.
business idea. I think that is a good business idea, then. For real. I don't know whether that will increase or decrease the pollution, because once it becomes a business, maybe more women will want to drive cars and there will be more cars, but probably in the equilibrium there will be less pollution. But
Right.
that's a good idea.
Yes, yes.
So for instance, you could really find this for women. What will make you as a woman to take a carpooling service?
Absolutely.
And then you already have most of the, okay?
Attributes. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll have the next presentation, Professor Samina, and she'll present her idea, and it'll be different from the ideas that we have been hearing so far. So let's have her.
Thank you.
Move a mic with you.
everyone is sharing your presentation with us, no? So I can also send comments over other presentations.
That will be very helpful. Thank you, sir.
Samina.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I really apologize for not being able to put up such a classy kind of a presentation. Mine is a very simple and from whatever I could gather. And I had initial discussions with you. So this is about, do you want to connect it? Will it show up there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, maybe, but there are few typos which I'll be embarrassed to, but it's okay.
Do we have this?
No, it will read us. Leave it. I'll special connector. Yeah, so this is about to determine companies willing to invest in training employees if they're faced with a situation where there's a regulation that you need to have certain jobs fixed for the nationals. Remember, we were having a conversation. So invariably, the thing is like that, these nationals are not of very desired skills and are not as hardworking as the alternatives expatriate available labor would be. But the government want to really push their employment, and so it's come up with this regulation that you need to have this X amount of quota in each sector, in each company where they are bound to employ the nationals. So regulation like this, it is sort of these quota levels vary and they also tend to increase over the years. So the attributes which I possibly thought of was the quota levels depending upon like 0 to 10, 10 to 25 and more than 25, not 20%, sorry for that. So depending upon the quota levels, they would sort of, have their options worked out for themselves. Another attribute would be the level of skills they face from the potential employees. Are they medium, the low, medium or high? So these could be 3 levels. Then depending upon the levels of skills they face, what would be the training requirement? Oh, sorry, it's gone. So again, will it come back? Yeah. So again, the training requirement could be one attribute and the various levels, low, medium and high. Then retention rate is also an attribute because you end up in a situation where the employee is not very happy, not very satisfied, and he feels that, okay, I'll anyway get a quota in some other, so I'll jolly well leave. So there is low, medium and high levels of retention. Then the company would think, okay, given all these, how likely are we to comply with the quota? So the levels would be not comply at all and pay the fee, pay the penalty, or partially comply or fully comply. Then I put the willingness to pay fine. Not willing, somewhat willing, and willing, rather than incur the cost of having a low productive and not so dedicated employee. Then I thought this is what we would like to know, that what is the willingness to make investments in upskilling, given the fact that you know that you're going to face these regulations and these quota levels would increase and not decrease. So jolly well make some investments and derive some positive returns from compliance as well as investments. So the choice sets would be, I hope it helps. So choice A, again, depending upon the quota levels and your level of employee skill, requirement, training, retention rate, you would likely to comply or pay the fine, or think about making a investment in upskilling programs. So there are 3 choices, and the 4th would be business as usual. I don't know whether it makes some sense or not.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me react. And I think that, I really like this. It's giving me several ideas. But let me ask you one question. How will you describe the status quo in the right based on those attributes?
Yeah, this was something which I was finding difficulty to find an answer to myself, but I thought it would be something called business as usual.
Okay.
I neither make an investment, and depending upon what I face, depending upon the skills and likelihood of the employee staying with us, we would comply or not comply. I mean, I'm myself not very sure. Maybe you can help me with that.
But what about the quota? Is there already a fixed quota? Because they cannot choose right now a quota, right? They have a quota.
Sector wise.
By sector, exactly. Okay. So, because here is how I think that could be a cool discrete choice experiment. The way that you can think on this is presenting alternatives to the employers to move away from the status quo. And it's going to relate a little bit with what we did with Sangeeta and Chandru, because basically what you want to tell them is, how much will you be willing to pay to not have to face the current quota? So you will...
If I can correct that, how much are you willing to invest in order to have positive returns to compliance? Because if you comply and
Yeah, I get it.
you anyway have to comply.
Yeah.
So either you lose by the compliance by having unproductive employees, or invest on them to get positive returns from them.
Yeah, now I remember. It goes in the line of what we were discussing. Okay, now I got it. So right now the status quo is... Right now the status quo is people hire a given quota, and that's it. I mean, they don't gain anything out of it. But then you could choose between training or not, with high, medium, retention rate, compliance with quota. Okay, I feel that the first two, quota levels and employee skill level, the quota level, if I understand correctly, you don't choose it. They are imposed. So I will not make it part of the attributes, because you as employer cannot really choose your preferred quota. What you could also...
No, we are actually not choosing any of them. No? We are making the decision based on the given 1, 2, 3, and then the fifth is your decision parameter. Is it? That's how I understood. Like the yields were given. Okay, this will be the yield on high drought situation, and then what is your willingness to pay?
Yes, but that's when the yields come with the seed that you buy. So in this case, the quota doesn't vary. You cannot choose anything to vary the quota that you are obliged to comply, right? If you are in the industry A, the government says you have to have 25% of nationals. If you are in industry B, they say you have to have 5% of nationals. So that is fixed for all of for the decision making, that is fixed.
But don't you think that has a bearing on my willingness to invest and comply? If the quota is higher, my stakes are higher.
Yes.
So I would be more than willing to make investments.
So here is what I think that you could describe quota levels. Of the quota that you have to cover, on what percentage of them you will be willing to invest? Right? If you have to cover 5%, what percentage of that 5% will you like to invest so that you get returns? That we can rephrase it in that way. Okay? The employee skill level, that one, I think that it kind of comes with retraining level. Like we can talk about final skill levels of the retrained people. And so we put together those two that you have there, right? If we just want them to be retrained into high skills or to medium skills. So that I will put those two together, because the skill level is either at the beginning or at the end, but it comes from the retraining. And the other one is
Compliance with quota, willingness.
Exactly. That one gets me a little bit confused, because you cannot choose to partially comply with quota, right? The quota is fixed. The-
but your willingness to comply is not fixed, no? I may decide to comply, I may decide to take the risk of, pay the fine, depending upon what I found more profitable.
Okay, they pay fine if they don't.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Why can't we have interaction dummy for the skills and the training part?
That could be one way, but so one of the things, remember, I'm trying to actually, I didn't say it explicitly, but one of the things that I am trying to make here is to make it more simple. Remember, here she already has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is a little bit too much, and for purpose of understanding, even if we put illustrations, employee skill level and training requirement is going to become a little bit tricky. And I think that those two can get combined and say final skills after retraining. And then we eliminate one attribute, which is one of the important things, to not have too many attributes. Compliance with quota and willingness to pay fine, now that I think about it, is also something that you can combine, because they go kind of one with hand, right? Because if you're willing to comply, you are not willing to pay fine. Or if you are willing to comply partially, it's because you are willing to pay a fine for not complying. So there we probably can put one or the other, or find also a good way to combine them. So in that way we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 5 attributes seem like a manageable number. Okay. And then I will say that the willingness to pay is willingness to make investment in training per year per person.
Yeah.
Right? So that actually we can calculate returns per person that they expect. And we will try to calculate it with the skill level. The final skill level, we can impute what will be after you invest, how much that people will be making. So we can see how much you wanted to invest to get what returns. So I more or less see it as flying with those. We need to kind of put together those two groups of attributes. And then we have here a measure of what is the returns that they are expecting for every dollar that they invest in one person, by knowing what is the expected level of final skills after retrain. So we have it nicely. Thank you.
Thank you, Samina. So this is like one example where Samina is looking at an economic problem that actually exists, and trying to figure out a solution there. And in that sense, it's very relevant, and we can just tweak it around and figure it out. But I think first thing is that the problem that you're looking at should be very relevant problem, and this is like she works in Middle Eastern countries, and she finds that it's a problem over there. Okay, so
thank you. Who is next?
Yeah, so next we have an online. Pragya? Okay, come. That's a very interesting group. Yeah, please, let's not, waste time. आपकी mails दिख रही हैं. Maybe you can remove that.
I'm waiting for my group members to come up here.
Please, Pragya, just go ahead. Certificates हो गए बाकी?
वो साइन होके पीछे रख रही है ऑनलाइन.
मेरे भी तो साइन हो गए.
हाँ मैम, बस
सारे ग्रुप वाले
ऑनलाइन
तो आए
फिर दे रहे हैं आपको साइन करना. ऑनलाइन वाले में ऑनलाइन
नहीं, ऑनलाइन सर्टिफिकेट पे
मैम. अब वो बोल रहे थे प्रणव की आप
नहीं ये नहीं कहा, मना कर.
तुम सर्टिफिकेट के ऊपर ऑनलाइन लिखवा रहे हो क्या? सर्टिफिकेट के ऊपर ऑनलाइन लिखवा रहे हो?
नहीं
तो क्या कर रहे हो?
अरे वो
So I have been
हो गया, नहीं लिखा, कुछ नहीं लिखा.
कुछ नहीं लिखा
with the job of
साइन करना है.
this presentation that my group has put together. So it is Incentives for Wellness, a discrete choice experiment on employee preferences for health promoting behavior. So right now, the reason that we came up with this topic was because of the research gap that exists. Mostly in India, all the policies that have been made on health, like risky behavior, and most of the policies that surround diseases altogether, they're not with like NCDs that are things like diabetes, asthma, etc., but rather on more chronic issues like for example tuberculosis or malnutrition and whatnot. So much more acute diseases in that sense. So the background is that we are looking at all right, yeah, I'll go ahead. I think it should come in a while. Yeah, so so the study is basically about a supportive workplace culture that basically promotes a preventative healthcare lifestyle, and employees here are encouraged to participate as subjects for basically a study that we're trying to create on a sustainable vision of health. So that's, something that people can really imbibe in their daily lifestyles. And this is the scenario here, as we'll see later, is that of for example, a corporate office. And here we're looking at the company's internal communication channels, wellness seminars, etc. So in that, we'll be using all the tools that we've learned in the past couple of days and make up our design according to that. And we're leveraging technology for tracking the data for this particular sample. We'll be like we're proposing to use online surveys, mobile health apps, things that can really track the data that we want for in real time, instead of just asking people to sort of try to estimate the same. And so that can make it easy for them to interact with this particular study. The research question is, what is the minimum level of compensation that a corporate employee aged between late 20s to late 30s is willing to accept to adopt specific health promoting behaviors? And that includes physical activity, dietary practices, sleep, hydration, and health checkups, and to basically reduce the risk of non-communicable diseases. And our incentive though here, that they should be willing to accept is vacation vouchers. We're offering, this particular company is offering vacation vouchers to people who would adopt more health promoting behavior. And the sample would be split between people who would know about the fact that they would be getting vacation vouchers versus people who would not know about it. So this could possibly be done by the HR. They're playing games all the time, so I don't think that should be very difficult. And moving ahead, yes, so as far as non-communicable diseases are concerned, they're a huge health policy, public health issue, in the sense that 1% of all total mortality in India is accounted from NCDs, and this includes diabetes, hypertension, respiratory diseases, arthritis, thyroid disorders, mental health conditions, all of which have a very high incidence in the age group that we have decided upon. And according to LASI, wave 1, the elderly, like I said, it's much more prevalent in this particular age group. And respondents, inclusion exclusion criteria. So who can be a part of the study? Basically people who do not already have an NCD, because this is like we're only focusing on preventative measures. So if you already have an NCD, our study does not apply to you. And with a basic understanding of preventing precautionary health promoting measures, as in like they should know that they should want to be healthy. In that sense, we're taking assumption here that people do want to be healthier on an average. And awareness regarding what NCDs exactly are, awareness regarding what so that we're taking our split sample is not based on knowledge here, it's based on knowing about the incentive itself. And yes, the age criteria as we've mentioned, and no one with acute health disorders already. And so this is our the levels that we have here of the choice set. So like I said, as you can see, physical workout is at the top. So are you at least exercising for 30 minutes in a day? So how many times are you doing it in a particular week? Are you doing it every day? Are you doing it 5 to 6 days a week? Are you doing it 3 to 4 days a week, or 1 or 2 only, or also a control set of just none? And So same way we have it for fruits and vegetables. So are you getting all your vitamins, etc., etc. In this, I want to mention the comment that Sangeeta ma'am had made yesterday. We will definitely be, so we had a pre-survey questions. We can also add that as like appendix later, basically. But the questions would basically be like that would you choose a packet of chips? Would you choose a can of cola? Would you rather choose, a packet of, so in most corporate offices, you have like a little snack bar thing. So, we're hoping that, we can very easily write, would you choose a packet of dry fruits versus, a packet of chips? So the questions would be completely based on our particular environment themselves. And yes, so you can see the same there. So at least includes 1 meal a day with fruits and vegetables. So again, the same level for the entire week. Same with choosing healthier snacks and you can say a Likert scale, at least in that particular one, because there are 5 options that you have. Then there's hours of sleep. There you can see, ideally we would at least want the 8 to 9 hours. Hydration, again, how much water are you drinking? More than 4 liters is absolutely unnecessary. But like I said, we've mixed it up. It's not that, there's one particular set that is the most optimal in that sense. Health checkups, same. We've given levels here. And compensation, that is the compensation. It's either a trip to Europe, like depending on how much you've worked, you get to choose the duration and the place that you go to for your vacation. And yes, this is the actual choices themselves. So so there are and obviously option B, that's the status quo. Again, there the none really stands for whatever the current habit might be. So I think that's what we can take it as, and we're assuming that most of these employees have a very sedentary lifestyle. They do not exercise or eat very healthy or have the time to do so. And yes, so you can see the reds are the ones that we would probably not prefer, but the greens are the ones that we would prefer, and there's like a mix of all of them, and you get the compensation accordingly. So for choice A, you're working 3 to 4 days in a week, you're eating, but then you're compensating it with eating better, but then you're still eating junk food, and you're sleeping all right though, you're compensating there, you're drinking enough water. So that way we've made 3 scenarios. And health checkups, you're getting them done sometimes, versus you're working out, you're eating good, but then you're also eating a lot of junk food, but you're sleeping not very good, but all right, you're drinking not a lot of water, but okay, but you're getting health checkups done. So all of these, that's how we've made our choices, and we've sort of calculated it to still mean that choice C is rather desirable. So, you get to go to the USA for that. And yes, so this is our... So basically these are the trade-offs. These are the trade-offs you make. Either you are healthier or you're so because even we acknowledge that it's not possible to do all of these. So this is our choice.
Okay, just so that people hear in the online, but yeah, that was great. I mean, we talked about this 3 days ago, and the concreteness in the exercise has moved, because I think that we were kind of missing the population, or we were missing mostly what I was worrying when we started talking about this was the payment. How are you going to pay, or who was going to pay? So I really like that you are focusing on prevention, right? Because one of the topics with the initial population was that it was difficult to measure the intangibles, but also it was difficult to measure in someone who was already elder than 60. It was complicated. This one has a lot of potential. I hope everyone sees it. It's prevention. The question is, what incentive do I need to put to you to have certain, how do you call it, a healthy, health-promoting behavior.
Health-seeking behavior.
Health-seeking behavior. And I think that with nowadays apps or whatever fund that we have, most of this is possible to monitor, right? We can monitor physical workout, we can monitor sleep hours, even hydration. We can monitor if you do checkups. I don't know if we can monitor fruit and vegetables, but I guess there can be an app where you take a picture of your food. We cannot make sure that you eat it, but at least if you're taking it there, I mean, you probably better eat it. And I don't know if you could monitor substitution of junk food. That we might need to see if we drop it because it's monitorable, and therefore, because you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I was going to suggest something that should be dropped, well, not that should be, but could be, is substitution of junk food. Okay? Let me just, because I am thinking on monitoring. And more or less it's believable that we can monitor the other things if you as an employee sign that you are willing to be monitored by your employer. Now, the compensation, I love it. If we were going to aim to do it, you want to know whether this is feasible. I don't know how feasible this happens in what kind of industry. My recommendation is just define if you want to do it among universities or among tech companies or among whatever, and then think a little bit of, but you can reframe it. I mean, I am sure that you can also put it as 5 days within India kind of trip, if that is feasible. You know, you can move just the days. You actually can make it even easier. You can just say, look, we let you take 2 days off in the year extra of vacation.
You get a voucher. I mean, you can shortly encash it if you want. It's fine.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? It's a voucher. But, you know, it's one of the things with the compensation is if it passes a certain threshold, it's not believable, and therefore it really doesn't incentivize, right? Like if you tell someone who actually never in their life could cash it, they will be like, yeah, whatever. That doesn't incentivize me. That's kind of the point there. I love it. You just have to kind of identify the right phrasing for the right industry, and then that's all. One more thing is, I love this. This is a nice choice description of the status quo. Sometimes the status quo is not the same, and sometimes it's very difficult to kind of identify how to describe it for everyone. But because these are habits, you basically can go and say, well, what are your habits today? And then you keep them fixed as the status quo, that you keep having your current habits, or you choose A, B, or C. So, yeah, I don't think I have and then you will be able to see how much do you need to be incentivized to do physical workout and eat vegetables. That's, you know, maybe how much, depending on how much the employers are willing to put, that will be how much you can get out of this people. You know what I mean? Like you will maybe get that they need a whatever amount of money or incentives, and then you don't have it. You at least know what you can cover. The final thing is very important that if you do this discrete choice experiment, you are aware that you can monitor the effort, and of course you are going to have health checkups, but you cannot monitor the results, or you have to make very clear that you pay for the effort, but not the results.
Right.
Because I could be doing everything and still, you know, develop diabetes because of genetic disease, genetic epigenetics. Once you make that clear, you pay for effort. And of course, if this is done, I mean, it will be awesome to establish a cost-benefit analysis based on before and after, no? But this is a very good beginning. Okay, you guys wanted to participate.
Yeah, sir, as far as the substitution for the junk food that you were talking about, you were talking about that we cannot substitution of junk food, we cannot monitor, like your question was, na? Yeah, we thought of it like we will replace it for cooked food. How many times you are consuming cooked meals at home, of the home, that we can monitor by getting them the pictures clicked, their selfie with their food kind of thing. So we can substitute that.
Very good.
Yeah, one more thing for I was in doubt while finalizing this compensation 5-day trip to Europe, 10-day trip to South Asia, and 3-day trip to USA. From the supplier side, like the employer side, it was like how will he decide how much he is willing to pay for that? Willing to accept is totally fine, but willing to pay what is going on being an employer's part. So the willing to pay for that trip from the employer side is same for 3 places. Like in case of a consumer or a demander, the Europe, South Asia and USA thing, they can go from their preferences. Like I want to go USA, I will choose to drink hydration of 1 to 2 liters of water. First they will decide we will want to go to USA, then they will decide the health promotion behavior they want to adopt. First, for the confusion we were in that. Second, from the supplier side, the willingness to pay to get their employees follow these health promoting behavior. The cost of all the 3 trips almost coming to be same.
Okay.
Yeah, because USA is a little bit expensive than South Asia, and they are going 10-day trip to South Asia and then a 3-day trip to USA. The days will be compensating the place. So their choice of preference can make them follow that health-seeking behavior.
I like it.
Yeah, that was the
I really
thing.
like that you are thinking on something really interesting. Really, here, if the average price cost is the same, you really are exploring whether they have preferences for Europe, South Asia, or
We're
USA.
not trying to punish people.
Exactly. Exactly. No, that's a good one. I like it. Just make sure that you get it in the range of compensation that is feasible. Okay. For that, you need to do some semi-structured interviews with employers to see why will they be willing to.
Willing to pay, yeah, if we take that demand supply side market. Yeah.
Okay.
We can go with both sides now. We have 2 DCs for both. Yeah.
Exactly.
How much willingness to pay for the suppliers or the employers to get their employees follow health-seeking behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have the 2.
Okay, thank you. So with respect to your comment regarding this, leafy vegetables or fruits and vegetables and junk food, that how to monitor and all, Pragya has already discussed what we had in mind. I just wanted to add another thing that, our target population is corporates, like corporate employees. So I think we can somehow monitor that, there are canteens in corporate offices. So in my family also there are people, who eat food there. So we can somehow assess that how many vegetables they are including, or how many meals, or how many, so suppose there are 3 dishes which are prepared. So whether they are containing leafy vegetables or not, and also within corporate offices there are, different types of snacks which are available. Things like coffee and tea are there. So we can somehow include this. And also, as Pragya mentioned that there are incentives regarding this trip, supply side things are also there, demand side factors are also there. So employees have also, some kind of incentive to share pictures as well. So I think some way we can still figure out how to monitor this.
Perfect.
The proportion of plate that they are having at their lunch at the office, we can monitor that fruit and vegetables thing.
Because we can control that, we are providing.
Yeah, like in schools they are having they have daily schedule for the children to what to bring there in tiffins kind of thing. We can do that.
It's just basically that you guarantee or can have
So
a
I
way of
think
monitoring.
we'll have to move to the next,
Okay.
but this was really good. Thank you very much.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. We can have a
Policy.
discussion.
We've just explained it, but yeah, we wanted to
right?
keep it at the table.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
So, yeah, I mean, before we move on to the next presentation, I want to take this opportunity to thank Professor Samina, who has been with us for this course. She's chairperson. I can imagine how much administrative duties she has. She's also teaching. She has her own research agenda and research students. But her presence was so encouraging for us and so enriching for us. I really want to thank her for being there as part of this course, and not just, in name, but I know how many important meetings she had to adjust and just to be here. So I'll request Professor Samina to give flowers to our guest of honor. So Adan, can you come here? Yeah, she has to now leave, so I had to do it now.
Thank you so much, Samina.
Such an absolute
so much.
pleasure
Thank you
and
so
honor
much.
to learn from you.
No, it has
I
been.
was not a good student, I know.
Oh, no.
Excellent, excellent.
We are
Okay,
very,
chalo.
very.
Thank you, Mandira.
We have to remain in conversations, okay?
Thank you so much.
That is a good discussion.
Yeah, we'll discuss and make it
need to
more
make a
useful
film.
than.
Okay, so the next group is, I suppose, online group.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so can you just do that?
Yes, ma'am. We are connecting.
Thanks, Samina. That's good. Hi, thanks. No, it's okay. It's going fine.
इससे तो कनेक्ट हो जाएगा वो शेयर करेंगे स्क्रीन में आएगा आवाज़ 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 भी आ जाएगी
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, you're clear.
Hello.
Yes, Jyoti, you are audible. You can start now. Thank you.
Uh, Good evening to all. My name is Jyoti Sharma and me along with Shivarama presenting on the topic assessing public preferences for water conservation policy, that is Discrete choice experiment. So the study place for my experiment is Delhi. So I have the motivation behind this topic is I also belong from Delhi, so I can understand the water problem or water scarcity over there. So water scarcity in Delhi is my first motivation. Then the need for efficient policy design and policy designing also nowadays including the behavioral economic insights in the policy designing. So that's why we are trying to incorporate to or these aspects into the policy and try to understand the different behavioral aspects in the policy designing. So likewise there is a also try to fill the gap between awareness and action, which is kind of putting the intention among the people to follow their awareness in their action also, and supporting data driven decision making. The objective of the study is the primary goal is to determine public preferences for different water conservation policy methods and providing insights into which strategies are most acceptable and effective from the public's perspective. So the detailed choice set is talked about 6 parameters or six attributes in which different levels. First one is the water pricing structure. These are the amount, this 150 or 300 is hypothetical, because right now I have not get the proper pricing system of water in Delhi. So that is, it is hypothetical. So first level is no change in current pricing. Second is tiered pricing based on usage. Third is seasonal pricing adjustments. And fourth is dynamic pricing, which is depends on the level of water use. And you can see the different levels have different kind of pricing system. Second is public awareness campaign. So public awareness campaign, no campaigns, door to door engagement and community works, shops in schools or in factories or any where the more people can uh, come and learn the things, or social media and posters. Third attribute is incentives for water efficient appliances. Indian government have labels for this energy safety parameters. Likewise, some other countries also have labels. In this picture also you can see it is from the Wales, Australia, where they have water ratings also, like the energy rating we get in India. Our fourth parameter is regulation. Sorry, I have not completed. So in the third, we have four levels: no incentive, rebate for water efficient appliances, tax credit for water saving installments, or free distribution of water saving devices. Now, fourth attributes is regulation on water uses. So, first level is no regulation. Second is mandatory rainwater harvesting for new buildings. Or third is heavy fines for excessive water use. Fifth attribute is investment in water infrastructure. So, first is level is no additional investment. Second is upgrading existing infrastructure. Third is developing new water resource. And fourth is implementing advanced water recycling systems. And sixth is behavioral nudges. It is based on the feedback, like if any or like the water company or the Delhi Jal board, if give feedbacks to the people on based of, first option is no social comparison. Second is like water saving ranking by neighborhood, like if your neighbor is consuming less, so just a tax that you are consuming more than average of your neighborhood consumption. So likewise, there is some peer group pressure to reduce the consumption. Third is real-time app with alerts and comparison. Like you frequently get messages from Delhi Jal board or maybe some their app which can notify you that whenever you use above the limit or like more consumption. So this is the choice set. Choice set, like doing full factorial design is not possible. So we are doing partial. Partial, we are using SPSS, orthoplan, or maybe we can use Sawtooth to find out the most prominent choice sets. So one of choice set I'm showing here. I know it's not that much like attractive, but I'll add some of the pictures into it later. So in this, I am showing three options: policy option A, policy option B, and status quo, depending on the attributes, and people can make choices accordingly. So expected sign can be, and like based on these attributes, we will design the questionnaires also, in which first we just add the general attributes and get some information based on opinions about water scarcity or environmental issues, and in second we give this choice set for the from the data, for the data from the people. So expected signs can be water pricing structure. It could be like in tired or increased pricing may have a negative sign to adopt the water conservation things, due to higher cost of consumption. And public awareness campaigns, positive sign can be accepted. Incentive for water efficient appliances, it should expected that have positive sign and incentive are generally well received. Similarly, regulation on water usage sign may vary according to the people, how people will perceive any regulation. Or investment in water infrastructure, it expected to be a positive because investment in infrastructure may typically viewed favorably. Thank you. And your valuable feedbacks are like welcome. What is talking?
Can you hear me?
Jyoti, are we audible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Can you hear, sir?
Oh, probably I need to talk to her there, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me there?
Yes, sir. I can hear
Okay.
you.
Can you share with us the choice set, please? Yeah, there. Perfect. Something that was not clear to me because I am not from here is what is the status quo in the water pricing structure?
Sir, like no need to change whatever is going, so nothing need to change. That's why I'm mentioning it's like status quo.
So, but right now there is no, everyone pays the same amount per liter that they consume?
Sir, mostly like there is no meter in Delhi, but in the civilized, like more developed society, there this meter system.
Okay. I see. Okay. Because, so when I was thinking on the water pricing structure, I like your suggestions in terms of being an economist, but I wonder whether it is realistic in the current situation to go from this not necessarily meter to tire and then to dynamic. So who will be your respondents? And do you think that the respondents will they have meters so that they can pay in that way?
Sir, the respondent will be the normal household which who have water meter in their house. So and like that only.
So, but I am imagining you will be aiming for upper middle income class, right? Because that's where you could implement something like this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I will definitely make sure to go for upper middle income class to higher, so that actually this way of paying makes sense, because that's where the technology can be implemented.
Or sir, we can go to DDA flats also, in which we have different class group. Like lower income also, they have some one flat this one room or like 1 BHK. Or for the higher income, they have 2 BHK, 3 BHK, and then separate farmhouse kind of. Like they have different section according to the lottery. People get this, and there is mentioned the income group also. So if we really want to get data for different income group, we can refer them also. But it's government agency, so we need to approach
Yeah.
to them.
Okay. And I am saying that because that is also, in that level, in that range of income is where the rebates for water efficient appliances apply, right? Or credit for water saving installations. You basically are thinking on a given income range here, because otherwise those rebates will not make too much sense in a given income level. I like about the what I like about the regulations is that it will be interesting to see if they have willingness to support these regulations. But for instance, heavy fines for excessive water use. In Mexico, sometimes they try to do that in some periods of that it's very hot and people are wasting water. But the problem is that it's not very believable because it's not enforceable. It's difficult to monitor and it's difficult to identify the people who are wasting the water, and then it's difficult to take them to the. So even when I like it, honestly,
sir, maybe,
yes.
Sir, maybe when we do this orthogonality check, so maybe heavy fines will clubbed with the dynamic pricing or like tiered pricing. Some of so it will some way adjust into the final choice set, because they are highly correlated according, like as per my understanding.
Yeah.
Like if anybody is using higher, so heavy fines could be in form of the tiered pricing also.
I mean, that one, I honestly will say, would you like to, I will keep it like mandatory rainwater harvesting for new buildings and nothing else. Like, I will see whether people will be supporting those, which I think that are more promising because it's on new buildings, because it's more enforceable and it can be monitored. And I will drop the heavy fines for excessive water use for the time being. And maybe later on we can explore whether that is something to include. And then the behavioral nudge, I really like them, but these ones I will put them as split samples. I will put it as part of the scenario, not as part of the attributes. So you have half of the people saying, well, there will be weather saving rankings by neighborhood, and you will be seeing a monthly report. And in another split sample, you will be like, okay, well, there will be real-time apps with alerts and comparisons, so that we can personalize messages on excessive use, to see if that will be something that people will react to and respond differently to each of the other attributes. So I will take it out of the choice set, and I will put it as part of the scenario to make split samples. Does that make sense? And one extra point is the notch with the real-time app with alerts and comparisons. You need to check that there is infrastructure and technology that make it believable in the income range that we are going to talk about. In Mexico, for instance, we still cannot really implement real-time apps with alerts. It's just not, we don't have the one that measures by the minute and is connected with the Wi-Fi and all that. But I don't know if you already have it here and it's possible, then it will be a good notch. And those are my comments.
So like in the Delhi also, sometime when there is electricity cut, so we get a message from the board that for 2 hours or 4 hours light is electricity will going to cut. So likewise, I thought that messages for personal messages for the excessive water use may be possible.
Okay. Very good. Do you have comments?
No, I think.
Very good. Thank you so much, Jyoti. Send us your presentation, please.
You guys need 15 minutes to fill up the form, or you can go with the next one. Or would you like that time? Okay, so we go with the next one.
Hi, Sobhan, you can start.
So shall I present it here only? Is this visible? Hello, so I'm audible.
Sobhan, you're not that audible. Can you be a little bit louder?
Sure. So is now am I audible?
Yeah, better. Thank you.
So I will start my presentation then. Am I audible? Okay, so good afternoon all. Good afternoon all. I'm Subin Kesi, currently student at Central Department of Economics, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. So today, on behalf of my team, I'm going to present our presentation. So the topic of our presentation is preferences for clean energy cooking technologies in Nepal, evidences from discrete choice experiment. So, without further delay, I would like to my motivation. So in the left hand side of the slide, you can see the chart where the target of electric stove installation in Nepal is shown. We have National Planning Commission, and currently we are adopting our 16th plan. So according to 16th plan, when the 16th plan will conclude, that is at year 2020 at 29. So National Planning Commission have targeted that the electric stove installation will be up to thousand in thousands, and currently in base year 2022-23 it's just 54.82 in thousands. And similarly, if we see the distribution of households by the main types of stove used for cooking, in the graph in right side, we can see the disparity between LPG stove and electric stove usage. So in Kathmandu Valley, in context of Kathmandu Valley, 96% of household use LPG stoves, but just 1.7 percentage of household only use electric stove. From this, we can see the disparity between uses of LPG stoves and electric stove. But our National Planning Commission 16th plan has targeted to increase it up to 1,000, increase it. So we can see some disparity. So this gives us space to work in our objective. So for to adopt for making people to adopt this, government have suggested some policies and government have formulated some policies. Just in brief, we have noted it down here. So it's renewable energy subsidy policy 2022, full waiver in custom duties for induction stoves, and 20% discounted for electric bills up to 150 units. So this is the government policy, and previously we have looked on the targets of the government. So as we were taught in our class also, that if there is any new technology, but if there is no any adoption, then it won't work. So uh, we have looked a little bit for differences on induction stoves and LPG stoves. So this is just a brief overview of induction stove and LPG stove, why we are uh, considering these two sources only. So I don't want to spend more time in this slide, so I just skipped. So our rationale of the studies is that we have already seen that there is poor adoption of electric stove in the context of Nepal, and we have already seen that government of Nepal have ambitious plan. So we need some feasible way to achieve it. Hence, our study is developed in the foundation that identification of preferences of consumer for adoption, so as to help the to tailor the policy solutions. Similarly, in the context of developing countries, also the literature on DC study is very scant, and there is no prior DC studies on clean cooking technologies in Nepal also. Hence, our study aimed to fill an important gap, providing insights on public preferences and informing policies for clean cooking solutions. So our general objective is to examine household preferences for clean energy cooking technology. For example, induction stoves in Nepal. The methodology is based on DC framework, and we know attributes and labels are the core component of DCE framework. So in this presentation, we have briefly listed out the attributes, but we will select 3 to 4 important attributes based on the consultation with stakeholder. And so in next slide, we will be presenting attributes and its label. Uh, if this is visible, then we have listed attributes and its label. So first attribute we are considering is on operating cost. So if the operating cost is in Nepalese rupees per month per household, so the different levels for operating cost we have assigned here is low operating cost, that is below 500 NPR, medium operating cost, that is 500 to 1500 NPR, and high cost, that is more than 1500. Similarly, in energy efficiency, if the levels for energy efficiency we consider are low energy efficiency, which is below 40%, medium energy efficiency, that is 41 to 70%, and similarly high energy efficiency, that is 70% and more. So similarly, next is our safety features. So if there is no any additional safety, so the labels for safety features are no any additional safety measures, automatic sort of feature, leakage and overheat protection, full safety certification, ISO certified, and other international standards. We will consider it later. And in time saving feature, we have 3 levels, that is slow, which is more than 60 minutes, moderate 30 to 60 minutes, and fast below 30 minutes. Similarly, we have considered cooking compatibility as an attribute. If the cooking compatibility is limited, that is if it is only used for boiling or slow cooking or moderate cooking, that is most dishes will be prepared, and if there is some limitations. And next level is versatile, that is all types of dishes can be prepared, including frying and baking. So next attribute we have considered is ease of use, that is whether the person using requires training or technical knowledge about that device or not. Similarly, simple but need occasional maintenance or very user friendly. So in next attribute we have considered is durability and maintenance, that is uh, which requires frequent repairs, that is in less than 3 years, moderate maintenance, that is 3 to 7 years, and then high maintenance, that is minimal maintenance. High is minimal maintenance, that is if maintenance should be done only after 7 years. And then similarly, next attribute we have considered is availability of spare parts, that is if the spare parts is rare, moderate, or easily available. And similarly, we have considered if what will happen if consumers react if the government gives some subsidies or financial support. So for we have 3 different levels, that is either no subsidy or partial subsidy, that is 50% of the cost will be covered, and full subsidy, that is more than 50% of the cost will be covered. So till now we have done we have listed this attributes and level only. So way forward we are planning to do focus group discussion, and we will conduct key informant interviews also to identify relevant attributes among the attributes we have selected or the attributes we have missed, and also we will revise on our levels. So and then we will design choice set more precisely, and then choosing the model for the estimation, and then finally we will design the sampling frame and the questionnaire. So I would like to end my presentation here only. So our main work we have done here is just we have listed some attributes and label. Thank you.
Can you hear me there?
Yes, sir.
Can we see? Yes. So I really think that I like your proposal. Something that we are missing, or maybe I miss it, is the population. I will imagine you want again middle income class to upper middle income class, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's one important thing, so that you know more or less where you are going to be getting your sample. Operating cost is a good one, but one of the things is operating cost depends on the use, no?
Yes, yes, Professor.
So of course you can always try to use averages, but I will, if I was you, I will try to identify in the pre-discrete choice experiment section how many hours do they cook today.
Yes.
And then from there I will try to estimate movements around the operating costs around that, assuming that that is the average for that family. If you were going to do this, for instance, in online, in the software, you can automatically ask the software to present the numbers, doing the calculation in the back. Like if you know that they use 5 hours a day, you multiply by the electricity that they may need to use it, and then you can estimate the prices based on that, and then they see the prices, but you estimated based on their answer to a previous question. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, Professor, I got that.
Okay, so that I will do there. Energy efficiency. So energy efficiency, I will get it into the scenario, because the motivation of your exercise is that you want people to adopt energy efficient stoves, right?
Yes, yes.
So I will say, look, the government is considering a subsidy for the most energy efficient stoves, which basically will have this level of efficiency. And then,
Professor,
yes,
we use star-like notations in energy efficiency, like star or rating, like this stove is more energy efficient, so that is rated 4 star, and this is less, that is 3 star, and then less 2 star. Like that, we can do that.
we could do something like that, but in your case, because if I understand correctly, there is actually an ongoing program that is subsidizing it.
Yes.
I think that because they have a very clear goal in that program, I will use that program as the departure point, and I will check what kind of stops they are subsidizing already. And I will use that one in the scenario, because that is what the government already is defining that they want to reach. They want to increase the use of that type of stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, Professor, I'm copying.
Yeah. Of course, all these comments also for those people that are online and are also here, but if whatever question comes later, feel free to send me an email, okay? But in this case, I will very much check the program and see which ones are the stops or the energy efficiency of the stops that already are part or that program is aiming for. And I will put it in the scenario. And in that way, we will drop one attribute. Right now, also, I am suggesting that because I see a little bit too many attributes. So energy efficiency, I will drop it, and I will basically use the one that the government wants to subsidize. Okay?
Oh, okay, Professor.
Now, I have some issues with safety, but I prefer to comment time saving. Time saving, I don't know whether we want to make it an attribute, because it's not very obvious whether more than 60 minutes is time saving or not for someone who spends 2 hours cooking, for instance. As you have it right now fixed, it depends on very much on how long do you spend a day in front of the stove. So either you make a little bit of a trick like what I suggested for operating costs. You ask first, how much time do you usually spend in the stove? And then after that you say, okay, well, based on that, I will present a slow, moderate, and fast time saving attribute.
Okay, Professor.
Okay?
I got it. Yes,
and
I got
basically what I will do is the time saving attribute, I will make it only positive. That means you don't make a slow time saving, but you cannot make two, the moderate and the fast. Like if you know that a person in average spends 2 hours, this attribute will take 45 minutes. If a person spends 2 hours, this attribute will take a value 1.5, 1 hour and a half, and 1 hour. And if someone spends 60 minutes, this attribute will take 45 minutes and 30 minutes. So it always implies a saving because in general, I think that could be something that people will want. But in general, people will not want something that is slower. Also, it will help you when it comes to interpretation.
Okay.
Cooking compatibility, I know that there are different compatibilities, but go and check which one is the one that the government wants to subsidize or is subsidizing. But I will go for versatile. Like, why will I ever want to buy a limited one where I only can boil?
Okay.
Or, I think that it is better that you put it in the definition of the scenario. You know how I said energy efficiency, high energy efficiency, and all that is versatile.
Okay.
So in that way, I will be dropping at least 2 of the attributes.
Okay, Professor. Okay.
Ease of use, I will that one I will probably rephrase it as technical assistance.
Okay.
Like if you require technical assistance in the first 6 months, we will have a person 24/7 available for you for the 6 first months, versus not having them.
I got it, Professor.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And then durability, that one I will basically fix it in the scenario, and I will describe it as the expected life of this stuff is 10 years. And it will be sold with a warranty of 10 years, so that if it doesn't last 10 years, you have the possibility to call for assistance to change it or for repair it,
Yes.
And then maintenance, that one you can play with it. You can play with some cost of maintenance if you want to.
Okay.
You can keep it as maintenance. Availability of spare parts, again, that one I will drop it. And basically I will say, and the government will make sure that there are stores with the spare parts, because otherwise why will I ever want to buy something that has rarely the spare parts, no?
Okay, Professor.
On the other hand, I don't know if I myself could repair an electric stove. So maybe instead of, maybe you can put maintenance and spare parts together and say something along the lines of maintenance, including the spare parts, for instance, right? Like if they need maintenance, and then someone is going to come at the cost of this much per year or this much per 2 years. So that one I probably will recommend that you put them together.
Okay, Professor. Sure.
Okay.
We will work on it, and we will get back to you after we have done some work.
Yeah. And then the final one is government subsidy. That one, I recommend you to go and check the policy that currently exists in your country. Check how much is that subsidy, and then basically play around that subsidy, increase it and decrease it to see. And of course, remember to test it as I suggested in the previous classes. To see how people react, but in this case I will use the available subsidy to play around it, so that you can basically tell the government, right now with the 25% subsidy that you're providing, no one wants it. You need to increase it to 75, for instance.
Yes, Professor.
Okay, so let me see if Sangeeta has some comments.
Yeah, thanks, Zubin, and a very relevant research problem that you're looking at, which also has policy implication. But my general suggestion would be that, as I understand, you're thinking of how to move people from LPG cooking stove to electric cooking stove.
Yeah.
In that context, I'll say that you first look at the two cooking stove and find out what are the differences between them. For example, if you you include something like energy efficiency, I'm not sure what does that mean in the cooking stove context.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, but I like the safety measure because that's something that's clearly different between the two. But again, time saving, I don't know if it's different time to cook in an electric stove as compared to LPG stove. So very generally you just see what's your research objective, and then what are the characteristics difference between the two stoves, and that's how maybe you can say that what will be the trade-offs. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
My God, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so maybe we have time just for one more, and please a round of applause for Subin. You want to go next? That's Bhavna and you. It's a different group. Okay. Let them. Maybe let's just do it with short presentations, and that way both groups get time.
Hi everyone, good evening. So our DC is on, So our DC is on improving waste management through segregation. So a discrete choice experiment on household preferences. So now let's see what is the current situation in India as of 2021. A report by Central Pollution Control Board. India generates 160,000 metric tons of solid waste daily. So that's a huge number, out of which only 50% is treated. 18% goes to landfills and 32% is unaccounted for. So our DC is based on solid waste management system, which refers to the systematic collection, transportation, processing, recycling and disposal of waste generated by households, industries and institutions. As we all know, untreated waste leads to air and water pollution, groundwater contamination, vector-borne diseases, dumping in open areas, railway tracks, empty plots, water bodies, etc. It also leads to unmanaged landfills and health hazards for people living around those areas. Now our question is, why do we need segregation? Why is it concerning? Why do we need to focus on segregation? Why should we focus on segregation at household level? So the question for why do we need segregation leads us to the fact that it's much more efficient than many other methods of garbage disposal, and segregation is more efficient in terms of cost as well as time. And also households generate a significant portion of municipal solid waste, and the discipline at this level would lead to segregate waste and manage our waste in a much better way. So the literature which has been shown here.
Can we come to the experiment?
Yeah.
Because I think, just
sure.
in the interest of time.
So there are different places from where we can target solid waste management, but we have focused on targeting it at the household level. Our study, we have decided to place it in Gurgaon, which shares the border with New Delhi. It has an estimated population of around 12 lakh people, and there is a governing body which is Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon, and which also has a solid waste management act
2016. Currently, there is a PPP model that is being followed to collect the garbage, and there is a waste to energy plant, but it is not fully operational. Then there are limited composting and recycling facilities, which also leads to very high dependency on landfills. So, as per some data, households generate around 70% of the wet waste, 25% dry waste, and some inert waste. So, the current
Bhavna, if you could come to the experiment.
Yeah, we'll finish it in 5 minutes. So this is the current situation of how the waste is being managed.
That's a good one. Illustration.
That comes to collect the garbage, or a private facility that comes to collect garbage, but it is unsegregated waste which goes to these landfills or dump yards without any segregation. So there are some regulations in place, but what news article says that they are not being done properly.
So before putting forward our experiment, we would like to ask some basic questions to the household and the regarding the characteristics of the respondent as well as the household, like age, gender, marital status, education, occupation, household size, their annual income, and who manages the garbage at their home level mostly. So to understand the motivation, behavioral motivation, we will be asking some questions like, do you know what a landfill is?
Yeah, we can see the questions.
Yes, so these are the basic questions which we are planning to ask. And the hypothetical scenario which we are trying to put forward, it is we have contacted some of the residents of Gurgaon itself, and we have asked what is the current scenario and how much they are paying in a month for the collection of waste. So from that scenario, we have got the a rate ranging between 50 to 150 rupees for public as well as private collectors. So our scenario is that the government is planning to come up with an action plan for solid waste management and will be charging a fee for garbage collection, and the fee will be 120 rupees per household every month. So however, if you can get a rebate if you are segregating the waste into dry and wet waste. So this will be the scenario which we are putting forward. And
so we have found 5 attributes. So first attribute is number of days of collection, which is having 2 levels, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and Monday to Friday. The second attribute is segregation, so segregating waste in different categories. The first level is dry and wet, and the second level is having 3 kind of segregation: wet, dry non-recyclable, and dry recyclable. Third one is rebate. So in the previous slide we have shown that 120 rupees government is charging. So how much rebate they'll be getting? So there are 2 levels, 40% and 80%. Then the next one is convenience charges for those households which with some reason or some other reason which they are not able to hand over their waste. So there will be an means door-to-door facility for So it also can have 2 levels, 0 rupees and 50 rupees, and then another one is peer effect. So if 40% of neighbors are adopting that, whatever the description is there in each card, or 80% of neighbors are adopting that. So in full factorial design there will be 32 choice sets, and so if since it is not fine, so we can create 8 choice sets in each block. So this is one of the choice card which is having number of days of collection, segregation, rebate, convenience charges, and peer effect. So first one is current scenario, which is status quo, and B and C are one of the choices which are there in this choice card. these are the 4 post DCE questions which can be taken into account, so that we can see whether our DCE is working fine or not. So first would be, did you find the scenarios and options presented in the DCE? Click. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. I mean, we are really impressed.
Very good. Very good. We have already the pre and the post discrete choice experiment questions. Very good. I think this is a discrete choice experiment that is almost ready to go. Can we go to the discrete choice or to the levels? Well, I think that they did a very good job illustrating. The illustration is very important in some of the cases. It's very important. Without the illustration, they are not going to understand. And in this case, I think that we needed it. Can we go to the levels? There. Right now, my only reaction, honestly, the rest I find it very intuitive. I find it that that's how very likely should be. Don't forget to do focus groups, interviews, and everything. But I will not have the 0 in the convenience charges. Honestly, I will put 20 and 50 or 20 and 50 and 100. Right? Like, yeah, you want to know whether people will pay for it. Don't let them the option to not pay, because then they will be choosing the not pay.
So 0 is actually the current scenario. We by mistake put it there.
Okay.
So it's 50 for everybody.
50. Then
because we are assuming that mostly those who are working would be taking this option, but
Yeah,
yet yes,
exactly.
we can have 2 options also.
Okay.
But then we would escalate the number of choice sets also. So
then put it as part of the scenario. Not in the attributes. Say the price will be this, or you could get a rebate. But if you cannot be there, you will be charged 50. And then honestly, I see this like ready to go.
I mean, it's really good. It's ready to go. I mean, so clear and very limited attributes, limited levels. It's not complicated.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Yeah, and a very relevant problem for Delhi. So, very good, very good. So, yeah, I would like to give you also a chance.
I won't take a lot of time, I promise.
5 minutes if you can just present it, and then later on we'll give you comments.
Yeah.
But
This one, the important thing that you did only 2 levels per attribute. That's good. The lowest level is the best.
Yeah, that's me. That's you. Yeah.
oh, sustainable tourism.
Oh, I like that one. Just by the topic, I like.
So it's actually a topic very close to me. I come from Uttarakhand, and it's something my relatives, people we know very closely, have seen firsthand, and they're always complaining how the tourists are making the place just worse, but they also need it for a source of income. So yeah.
Okay, so what's the group? You should always write the names of people.
So it's thanks. So it's hi, my name is Shreya. I'm a first year MA student from CSP, and I'm doing it with my friend Vishav. He's a little shy to come up to the dais, I guess. So the motivation behind this, as I said, is that how the Indian Himalayas is just a very fragile ecosystem, and with the upcoming tourism, it's increasing day by day, but it's also increasing the production in waste, and how there's just a huge surge in tourism, and while there are economic benefits, it's also bringing in waste creation, environmental degradation. So while sustainable tourism is an up and coming thing, ecotourism, so it's just like my attempt through this DCE to understand the tourists' willingness to adopt sustainable choices as a part of their tourism, tour options. So it aims to identify tourist preferences for sustainable tourism initiatives, understand the trade-offs that they're willing to make, and to provide insights for the policymakers and, most importantly, the tour companies on how they can make their travel plans more sustainable, right? So this is my research question. For this the population for the study that we're planning to consider is people who have already been there once or are planning to visit, say, in a period of the next 1 or 2 years, and we're trying to cover an age range from 18 to 40 most frequent travelers. That's what. And then we're also thinking of considering only the people who are going for ecotourism or spiritual tourism, not people who are interested in more of a commercial kind of tour. So these are the attributes that I've taken, a type of accommodation, and So while we did not have the time to conduct a full-blown survey, this is just our expected sign of how it would be, turn out. So the attributes that we've taken are type of accommodation. It could be the different levels are eco lodges with renewable energy, homestays with local communities, and standard hotels with basic eco certificates. The second one that we're taking is waste management and plastic use policy. And here we've also considered a zero strict no plastic policy with reusable alternatives, so like no single use. And the second one is just single use plastic with recycling options. And the third one is no strict waste policy but basic awareness campaigns. And then we're considering the transport mode, wherein the levels would be just low emission transports like electric bikes and walking tours. And this has actually been implemented in Rishikesh. A lot of tourists have started opting for electric bikes and scooty instead of just cars. And second option we're taking is public transport, carpooling, cabs, buses. Third being SUVs and helicopters, which is mostly used in more remote places, say like Kedarnath or places like that. Third one is the price premium for sustainability initiatives, which is we did do a small survey to find the reference price for this. So we'll be taking like the levels as 10% higher than the reference price, 5% higher than the reference price. But due to lack of time, we could only do a survey of 30 people. And as per that, the sustainability price, I'll just get to you.
That's okay.
It was around 1,500 that people were willing to pay. We did an estimate from that. And the third is conservation fees. It's again the levels are high fees, which would be like around 500 plus, moderate fee 100 to 500, and low fee 100. So this the figures we got from going through certain permits and entry tickets that the forest department has levied in certain hill stations. So the trade-offs that are being explored are environment sustainability versus cost, and the second most important one being comfort and convenience versus environmental impact. Like when tourists are choosing, say, an eco lodge, they'll be giving up certain aspects of comfort and convenience. So that's one of the trade-offs I'm looking at. Then this is an example of a choice set. So yeah, I think, and right, as I mentioned in the beginning, the expected contributions would be
okay.
to,
Maybe you can just do the choice set, leave it there.
Yeah. So these are the choice sets that we have. And just for status quo, I had given an option of just none of the above to in the form that I had made, but I'm also a little confused on how to go about the status quo. So this is one of the choices that I had made. So should I go over it or?
No, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I know we are the last ones, but we want to provide good comments. So I think that you got it right. In general, I see all of them making sense in terms of attributes and levels. The one that I have my question is, when you say transport mode for travel between tourist destinations, I don't know if I will put SUVs and helicopters in the same level, no? Like between SUV and helicopter, the level of CO2 emissions is very different. So, I will believe that those that will go for helicopters are relatively wealthier, no?
So this is actually in context of certain religious places in India, specifically say Vaishno Devi, for example, or Kedarnath, wherein the helicopter tickets, while expensive, are still affordable for the upper middle class to the richer class.
Okay, that's a good explanation of why. Okay. Price premium, can you explain that to me, because I didn't understand the difference between that and conservation fee?
So that is more of how if like a tour package is involving more sustainable options, the tour package would automatically increase with price.
Yeah.
That is what I meant with price premium.
And the conservation fee?
Conservation fees would also include, so there are certain areas where you go, so if you just enter that district, they charge
That's
you
where they
fee.
charge.
That is levied by the forest department.
Exactly. Okay. So when you describe it, make sure to say price premium on tour packages. And then conservation fee charged by Forest and Wildlife Protection department. Don't put for community development or mainly for tourist management. Just conservation fee charged by a given department, and then just put the values. But this is very good also. I will recommend illustrations, but other than that, pretty good.
Yeah, no, very good and very interesting. At one point, I was also interested with one of my PhD students, but then, that meant we go to Uttarakhand and do surveys, so we don't do that. But I'm just wondering that if we have two price parameters, how will I calculate willingness to pay? So that, it's better to have one price and attribute. So you can have sustainability attribute. That's fine. But price should be just one, and that price will, you can always do trade-offs in terms of monetary units by having one price. Okay? Okay, so that was the last presentation, and now it's time for certificate distribution, and I'm sure all of you are waiting for it. So I'll invite Adan and our chairperson, Professor Mandira Sarma, for this certificate distribution. So
I am the one saying the names or giving the...
Just, handing it over to them. So you can stand, or you can stand here.
Okay.
Because it's all videographs. And you guys, Khushi and Pranav, can you just give them to us after name? Yeah.
Say out the name. Read
Sorry?
Out the name.
Yeah, you can read out name.
Okay.
She can read out the name.
Okay. Ma'am, we already have the names of the people who have attended today, so they are in
Doesn't matter. You just
I'm sorry.
naam patiro and they'll.
Okay, you go here. Okay, so this is for Akil Ahmed. Congratulations on completion of this interesting. Anybody for photo?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The next would be Ashwarya Harichandan.
Our former students.
Who is not here?
So, okay.
Oh, okay. So you want
Ashwarya is out, right?
Congratulations, Ashwarya. Next one is Akash Paul.
Akash is from Roorkee.
What do I do?
Sabke.
Next page. Okay.
Alekia also can speak.
Alekia Gudaju.
Okay, next.
Absent. Alok Kumar. Alok Kumar Kanojia. No, okay. Next is Alok Kumar Kanojia. Do you have? Great. Amashika Sikdar. Amashika. You people please clap for everybody. Don't simply sit idle. Yesterday I was attending PhD convocation and no one was clapping, and I was the only one clapping for everyone, and that's not fair. You put so much of effort to get a PhD and nobody is clapping. That's not fair. So yeah, of course. Maybe it's even worse. After Amashika, it's Anamika Mehta. Ankita Jaiswal. Ankita Jaiswal? No. Archita Gaur? This I don't read, no? Only these ones. This one? Yes. Next is going to be Bhagyasri Moharana. Bhagyasri Moharana. Is she around? Bhavna Taneja?
Doesn't say. You can just.
Chingakham Lily Chanu.
She's not here.
She's not here. Debarun Sengupta. No? Okay. Deepika Rampal. Kandapal. Okay. Deepika, are you here? No. Diyadeep Anand. Devansh. Devansh is not here. Dinesh Chand Meena. Not here. Dr. Charu Grover Sharma. Cancel.
Charu is our farmer.
Come in between.
She's also online.
Yeah, Himanshi Varma. I think she's online. She's here. Yes, come.
That's a great.
that's.
And then we have Himanshu Sharma next from IIT Roorkee. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Hussein
you.
Asgar. Next is Ishita De. Congratulations, Hussein. Ishita De. Great. And then we have Jaya Sarkar. No? Okay. Then is Jonath Shijan. Okay, Jyoti Sharma. I think she is joining us online. Kajal Singh. Kajal is here. Then we have Kanupriya. Yeah.
She's not here. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
I'll take it out.
And then we have Khushi Mehta. That's so funny. Yeah, very nice. You see, a participant come organizer, okay? So she should get 2 certificates.
Now you should be giving certificates. I'll need
Okay,
to
okay.
do the names. Okay, Kiran Kumar is here. Okay. Kirti Ranjan. Kirti is here.
Thank you.
M. Rahul, he's not here. Manvi Vatsa. Ajruddin Akhtar, I think he's doing online. Mizan Anjum. Mehar Kaur, Milind Kumar Yadav, Mukesh Kumar, Musaffar Jani. Musaffar Ghani is here? Yes. I can also see all 5 attendants. Congratulations. Muskan, Omi Vigeda, No. Yeah, because they must be listening now, so I'm calling out their name. Parthasarthi Sahu. Okay. Pragya Pragya Taneja. Yeah. Pragya is also very regular. And our organizer, Pranav Mishra. Yeah, we have to have a very loud round of applause for Pranav. He has been working day and night for this. Pranita Vishkarma. Rahul Kamal.
Thank you.
Rishabh Karthike. Ritika Karan. Ritika Singh. Rohan, no Ritika Singh. Rohan Yadav. Yeah, Samina just left. Sanskriti. Soumya Valvai. Shawnee. Yeah. Next is Shawnee Das. She's not here. I know Shio Rama is online. Shreya is here. Shreya Sirkoti. Simran Kumar. Simran is not here. No. Srikoti. She's here. Yeah. Sulakshna Rao has joined online. Sumit Sutradhar. He's here. Sumit is from Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana. Yeah, congratulations. Sumit had very good questions throughout. Sureksha. Tamanna. Tanu Shivnani. She's also a former student. I don't think Tanvi is here. Vishwajit Singh Kamboj. Yashpal Luniwal. Ajay is our own student. Come. Okay, I don't think they are here. ये लोग नहीं है. Subin Casey from Tribhuvan University. I know he's online, but I'll still, I'll take his name. Then Nirmal Kumar, Professor Nirmal Kumar. Dr. Shirin Rice, these are all online, but they have been attending very regularly. Kapil Pokral, Dr. Neha Hanand, Tanvi Dhadwal, Swangi Rath, Muskan Agarwal, and Ichuk Podial, Ishika Tiwari. Ishika was here. Huh? Okay. So I guess that's the. Yeah. So before just closing this, I'll say a brief vote of thanks to all the people who made this course possible. First and foremost, of course, our resource person, Dr. Adan Martinez-Cruz, who traveled all the way from Sweden. And I know how busy this was, and we had applied and thought about doing this. That was 1 year ago. And within 1 year, so many things changed. He also became busy, but he still kept his commitment and traveled, even though he couldn't take even a couple of days extra to, travel or see Delhi or India. He's just leaving Sunday early morning. But we're very grateful that you could make it and you came all the way. And this course has been truly stimulating. I mean, I can see so much of interest, so many questions, and the presentations you guys made towards the end. That's measure of success of our course, and it was really heartening to see that there was so much of interest, and you guys, the participants, made it a success. Your participation, your enthusiasm and curiosity, and I know how many of you have been seeking appointments and queuing up outside his office door, or even a Ravli guest house where he's staying. I know on Wednesday many of you had appointments with him, even at the place he's staying. So, thank you to all of you to have been here, to spend so many hours of intense learning with us. I know it's not easy for any one of you. This is not part of your curricula. You're not, it's not something that you're doing to get a degree, but you're doing this to learn, to experience learning and scholarship. And I think that's what is valuable in Indian scholars, researchers, that you want to learn new concepts, you want to learn new methods, and you're willing to spend your time or invest your time in it. Then with that, I will also like to say our thanks to Gyan, Ministry of Education, who have instituted this exciting program, which has facilitated foreign scholars, international scholars of global repute to come and share their scholarship with us. JNU Gyan team, our Vice Chancellor, our Dean Professor Mattu, our Chairperson Professor Sarma, and all the administrative staff who have provided us continuous support. Last but not the least, our student volunteers. Yeah, there has to be a big round of applause for our student volunteers. I don't know if they slept in this last 1 week, how many mails, messages. They have been, continuously answering, trying to make arrangements, all kinds of arrangements to make it, facilitating it for you, to make it comfortable for you. So I'll also take the names. So Pranav Mishra, Khushi, Kanupriya, and then I don't know if Adarsh is here, officially or unofficially. We always drag in Adarsh to help us. So Adarsh has been helping us. Then Kajal and Tamanna, they have also been helping us, coming up with all kinds of suggestions. And I know that even others, all CITD students, whatever assignment task we gave them, they enthusiastically did it. I see so many of them. So rather than taking individual names, I thank all of them. And we have one more resource person, Charu, who also gave one lecture here. So I would like to thank Charu to contribute to this program. And she also has a teaching assignment. She had to take leave and be here with us to share insights from her experiment, because she is the one who has conducted that experiment. Mandira, have I left anyone?
I think you
If I've left something, you can just complete it. And
No, I think it was a wonderful workshop. I think I missed a lot of it because initially when Sangeeta told me that such and such workshop or such and such course is being conducted, I told her that I'm going to attend each and every class. But unfortunately, you know how it is. So I could not. And today during the presentation, I actually felt that I missed so much by not attending. It is a regret. So hopefully, and I'm sure you all have benefited from this, and you will take it to the next level by doing your own research in this area. And I wish all of you all the best for your research program and everything. And thanking Adan and Sangeeta once again for organizing this wonderful program. Thank you.
Hola. Hola. No. Well, okay, so thank you. Just, it was a great pleasure to be here. I really enjoyed your questions and your presentations. I am not kidding. I am not exaggerating. Feel free to drop me an email. I prefer my institutional email as mail of exchange. And if you don't hear from me, send me a reminder a week after that. I am very good at replying within 24 hours, and if I don't, it's because your mail got completely lost there. So remind me 1 week later. So, thank you so much.
Okay. So with that, we close the session.
Thank you. That's so good.
Thanks, Mandira. Thanks.
Thank you so much for